Diddy still has a lot going on when it comes to legal trouble. One of his top lawyers, death penalty attorney Anthony Ricco, filed a motion on February 21st, 2025 to withdraw from the case. Although he did not explicitly state the reason for his decision, Ricco said, "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs." We can speculate on why he stepped down, but possible reasons include a disagreement or conflict with the defense team or Diddy himself, a conflict of interest with one or more victims, or even health issues. We may never know. Regardless of the reason, a lawyer is still obligated to protect their client by not disclosing compromising details to the public after leaving the case. Diddy is still represented by three high-profile attorneys: Mark Agnifilo, Tony Garagos, and Alexandra Shapiro. As of now, alongside his criminal case, Diddy is facing dozens of civil lawsuits. Vulture.com published an article summarizing them, and the page seems endless. If you don't believe me, just look at the size of it. That's a whole lot of lawsuits. One of his rare legal wins is the lawsuit against him and his former friend Jay-Z involving a 13-year-old girl back in 2000, which was recently dropped and dismissed. The case was filed by Texas attorney Tony Buzbee, who made extraordinary claims during a press conference a few months ago.
Thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Now, Jay-Z is striking back by suing the Jane Doe who made the allegations, as well as Buzbee for defamation and extortion. Meanwhile, Diddy has also taken action against Buzbee, attempting to block him from practicing law pro hac vice in the Southern District of New York. Pro hac vice is a Latin term meaning for this occasion. It allows an attorney to practice law in a jurisdiction where they are not licensed, but only for a specific case. A misconduct complaint was filed against Buzbee for appearing in cases without seeking proper admission and for signing pleadings and filings in the now dismissed lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy. It basically means that he practiced law unlawfully in the state of New York. Kind of. A few days later, the court required him to seek admission. While blocking an attorney from practicing pro hac vice in a district is uncommon, it is considered a privilege, not a right. Diddy's legal team also pointed out that Buzbee has been linked to nearly 20 other cases in this district. If he is banned, up to 12 civil cases against Diddy could be in jeopardy. Although several media outlets reported that Buzbee was denied the ability to practice law in the Southern District of New York and is now required to present a denial letter whenever he pursues a case there, Buzbee responded via Instagram claiming he was not barred from practicing law in New York and that he is, in fact, licensed. Diddy's team countered, stating that while he still can practice law in New York, he must now seek permission from 19 other judges and present the denial letter each time. Clearly, they don't want him around. Diddy will face a tough battle in the court of public opinion during his upcoming trial. His ex-girlfriend Cassie is now pregnant with her third child, which will likely draw more sympathy toward her and even more negativity toward him. You may have noticed that most of the witnesses' identities remain undisclosed, along with the numerous John and Jane Does involved in the civil cases. Sean Combs' teams recently filed a letter requesting the identities of all alleged victims and witnesses, arguing that they lack enough details to properly prepare for trial. However, the prosecution pushed back, stating that the request should be denied since the defense has already been provided with 25 terabytes of evidence. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a whole lot of evidence. The witness list will be provided by April 14, 2025, 3 weeks before the trial, while their statements will be disclosed even earlier by March 21st, 2025, 6 weeks before trial. On top of that, let's not forget that Diddy has been accused of witness tampering by allegedly using other inmates' telephone accounts and three-way calls to contact key witnesses outside of his approved contact list. His legal troubles don't end here. Former Making the Band contestant Sarah Rivers recently filed a last-minute $60 million lawsuit against Diddy. You heard that right, $60 million. She claims that he sexually harassed her multiple times, failed to properly compensate her for her work by denying her credit and royalties for songs used in season 2 and 3 of the reality show, and forced her to sleep in a room with 4 men while she was married. She also alleged that she was not provided with proper food and was ultimately blackballed for rejecting his advances and refusing to pose for Playboy. Diddy's legal team responded, "We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. With the deadline for New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act expiring tomorrow, it's clear that opportunists are rushing to file last-minute meritless claims." The lawsuit was filed in late February 2025, just before the deadline for new lawsuits related to gender-motivated violent crimes, which was March 1st, 2025. However, this does not prevent people from filing other types of legal actions against him. The case that landed him in jail before trial is the federal lawsuit filed by the Southern District of New York, in which he is facing 3 counts: racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Recently, Diddy attempted to have the last charge, transportation to engage in prostitution, dismissed, arguing that it was racially motivated. He claimed that no white person had faced similar charges despite engaging in prostitution in the past, and that he was being singled out as a powerful black man. In legal terms, this is known as selective prosecution. The prosecution responded by calling his motion outrageous and illogical, and stated, "Race played no role whatsoever in the decision to seek the charges contained in the indictment, which instead stemmed from the defendant's decades of criminal conduct. Because the defendant offers nothing more than conjecture to suggest otherwise, the motion should be denied." Conjecture simply means incomplete information, in case you didn't know. Then, on March 6, 2025, another indictment was filed against Diddy by the U.S. Attorney's Office, accusing him of forced labor. This information will be included in the criminal case. The new information states that Combs, along with members and associates of the enterprise, also maintain control over certain employees of the Combs business, whom he forced to work long hours with little sleep through use of, among other things, physical force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm, and or threats of the same. In doing so, Combs, assisted by members and associates of the enterprise, caused these employees to believe that they would be harmed, including by losing their jobs, if they did not comply with his demands. With respect to one employee, Combs used physical force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm, and or threats of the same to cause the employee to engage in sex acts with Combs. It's possible they included claims from the Dawn Richard lawsuit, since she made similar allegations. I actually have a documentary covering this topic on my channel. Sean Diddy Combs has been in custody since September 2024 at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. He faces a minimum of 15 years in prison and a maximum of life. His trial is set to begin on May 5, 2025. Despite his legal troubles, his net worth is still estimated to be around $400 million. So yeah, he has a lot more money than us, but also a lot more problems. Watch my 2 documentaries about Diddy if you want to know more about him. Peace.